Hi, hello, welcome to Geeta's Cooking. Let's always spice up our life, shall we? Today's recipe is going to be a paneer dish. Paneer, otherwise known as cottage cheese, is available everywhere now in most supermarkets. So it's easily available ingredient, not a hard one. I'm going to try a Dhaba style one today, and I already explained to you all what a Dhaba means. Let's get into it and check it out, shall we? Right here, let's start our recipe. There are a couple of steps in this recipe, don't fret, and if you don't have a chickpea or a besan flour, don't worry about it, because we will need that as well. We will be doing some marination. Let's start first with our marination. Paneer with some red chilli powder, turmeric and some salt. Give it a good mix and keep it aside, because that adds a great flavor to the dish. So normally I would marinate my paneer and keep it aside. The next step is just roasting our chickpea flour or the besan flour. Now this is also readily available in the shops, but if you don't have besan flour, don't worry about it. It just adds really a nice flavor to our dish. That's done. Then we will start, now that marinated paneer will be ready, we will give it a nice roast. The roasting is important because that's going to absorb all the ghee. You would have seen I've added some ghee here. Actually, at this point it's very nice to eat it as well. Then we move on to our tempering. As usual, we add our oil, and we will also need ghee for this. There's a lot of ghee I'm adding, and yes, you will need it for the paneer dish, because most of the Punjabi dishes will have a lot of ghee and oil. The oil and the ghee gives a nice flavor. That's why we are mixing both of them together. We will start adding our masalas. We start with cumin seeds first. Once cumin seeds kind of roasts a little bit, then we start adding our other masalas. Nothing unusual in this, so I'm not going to give you anything that we don't know earlier. Basically, it will be our cinnamon, cloves, like about 5 or 6. You can be generous with your cloves, and some cardamom. Just when you're using cardamoms, always make sure you just give it a bit of a squeeze in your hand and then just put it in so the flavor can get in. And then we will also be adding our bay leaf. So pretty much these are the 4 spices we are going to be using. I'm adding some red chilies as well, red chilies, whole red chilies, the long ones, and some hing. We will now give it a nice fry and make sure all the masalas are fried and the aromas come out of it well. The red chilies, as you see, don't break it or anything like that, because Dhaba dishes stay as is. We will add our onions, and the onions will have to be fried well. We've talked about this before. Onions will have to be nice and golden brown, so take your time and give it a good fry. A good fried onion makes a difference in a paneer dish. Make sure it doesn't burn as well. If you feel it's burning, always use the same technique I taught you before. Add a bit of water. Now, to speed up the process, we get our pinch of salt and start roasting our onions more. As I said, this process is it will take about 5 to 6 minutes, guys, so just take your time in roasting your onions. I say this a lot because that is very important for that. Time to add our ginger garlic paste. Give it a good fry as well. Once this major tempering is done, this is the base for this dish. So when the base is really nice, then we can start adding all our powders one by one. Get a Kashmiri red chilli powder for this, so that's going to give the coloring for our dish. Turmeric powder, coriander powder, and then we will also be giving some Garam Masala powder to it. Add all of that, and we are going to fry our masala powders. Powders will also have to be fried for about 3 to 4 minutes. Again, if you feel it's burning, add water. Adding water is very, very important, otherwise it can get very dry, and also it can be a bit overpowering for you when you're frying your spices and all the powders together. Now the roasted besan powder, this is when I'm going to add it. That's the chickpea flour, the one that we earlier roasted and kept it aside. Bring that in as well, and then mix it all together and fry it together with your masalas. And again, if it's going to be dry, then we can add water. I haven't, but I'm going to add tomatoes and then get the juices at the tomatoes to make it a bit more easy to fry. The tomato also, make sure there's no raw smell in the tomatoes. Give it a good mash. Tomatoes should pretty much be mashed well, so take your time and do that as well. You can see between the tomatoes and all the besan flour and the ghee and the oil, it just goes in really well. I am going to add some water to make sure it doesn't burn. The water, tomatoes and all of that will take at least another 5 minutes. So stir it all well and fry it. If need be, you can even put a lid on it, but just don't go to use medium high. Don't go on high flame for any of these. Just stay with low or medium high flame when you're frying all your masalas and things like that, because you don't want to burn any of these, because once you burn your base, you're finished. I am going to put the lid on because I want the tomatoes to mash up really well. So I'm going to leave that there for about 2-3 minutes. Now you can see, you see, all the oil has separated. Always the sign for masalas is you will know it's nicely fried and everything when the oil separates out. When the oil is separate, you know your masalas is fried well as well. Now to this, I'm going to add some yogurt to it. Yogurt will also give nice moisture and a creamy texture to this dish. So add some yogurt and again stir it and mix it well with all the masalas. Again, make sure the yogurt also cooks well in your masalas. Basically, this whole dish is about adding your masalas and cooking them one by one and making sure it's all infused together. That's what the dhaba is all about. Just making sure all the masalas are infused well. Remember, paneer can be very bland and dry, so you need to make sure it's all cooked well. Now I'm adding some green chilies. The one I have on hand is a long green chili. Again, it's not much hot, but if you like real hot paneer dish, make sure you can add any kind of chili to this dish. I've had this on hand and I've used that. Adding some more water to it because I want my gravy to be a bit more watery than it is. So I've added about 2 cups. You can actually go 2 or 3 cups. Again, the gravy consistency is your choice. If you want your gravy nice and watery and you like to have your gravies like that, add more water. If you don't, you can then leave it as is. Once the water is added and the yogurt and the chilies and everything is cooked, I'm going to put a lid on for a little bit, because as I said, the idea is to make sure every single thing in this is cooked well. I'm happy with this now. Now is the time. You'll be wondering, where is that paneer? As I said, when the base is ready, that's when you can add to this base. You can actually add other things as well. If you want to add chicken to it or anything like that, this is the base that they use for all the curries. So once you have this base done, pretty much you can add whatever you want. I'm going to bring my paneer in now. It's nice soaked in all my ghee. That's why I kept it in that pan alone separately, because I want to make sure that all that oil and the ghee and everything is soaked really well and it's absorbed everything. You can tell everything is absorbed in nicely. Now make sure you fry the paneer, or just give it without breaking. Be gentle because you don't want to break your paneer either. I have brought my flame really low at this stage because I want to make sure that I mix it properly, and I'm going to cook this for a bit, about 4 to 5 minutes. So without breaking your paneer, be gentle and give it a stir, and you can tell that it's starting to cook now. At this stage, if you want to check your salt, you can check some salt and add some water. I'm going to be adding water because I need a bit more gravy consistency there, so I'm adding some water. Salt Even if you want some more extra chilies, you can put in now. You can do all of that stuff now, because this is the final stage of the dish. You won't be able to do anything else further to it. Once this is done, put the lid on again. Cook it for another maybe 3-4 minutes, just to make sure the paneer is absorbing all these spices in. Wow, look at that. A perfect paneer dish is ready, and I'm very happy with this. Now is the time that you want to give it a slight stir to make sure nothing is burnt underneath or anything like that. I'm very happy with the consistency. I can tell it's all infused well. Time to get some coriander in. Fresh coriander always gives a great flavor to the dish. Get your coriander in, the more the better, and you have to stir it in nicely and cook it and make sure the flavors of the coriander goes in. We don't add mint. Also guys, with this I forgot to tell you, don't over fry your paneer in the beginning. It only needs about 2 to 3 minutes, otherwise it will be rubbery. Now we are ready to serve the dish. We can bring it to the dish and start serving. It's best to be served with chapatis, naan or rice. Not best with dosas or anything. Enjoy and let me know how you go. Thank you. Well, there you are. There's an easy paneer dish ready to be served. It's not that hard, as you can see. If you don't have any of these ingredients that I've told you, actually I've mentioned kasuri methi in this dish and I didn't have it on hand. If you have a kasuri methi, go for it, but otherwise don't fret. It's all good. Try it out. Let me know how you go, and put in your comments, guys. And happy eating, everyone. Enjoy. Bye for now.